Welcome, spiritual travellers. I'm Steve Bradshaw, aka the Brad Monk, and when I'm channeling, I connect to my soul of the past, who was a monk who travelled around sharing his spiritual journey, and so he helps me to find and connect to what I call the soul's inner voice, which is basically the universe that gives us wisdom, insights, connections, and frees me up to be able to help people on their journey. My mission is to connect and get every single one of you to experience this amazing world, what I call the world of enlightenment. Channeled insights about health. Now, as a person that has spent his whole life fearing being overweight and then suddenly became overweight, it is a scary time, and I want to put this out. This is my experience. I'm not going to tell you anything that you need to do or what to do. I'm just going to give you my experience and some channel insights that I got this week, which changed my perspective on my thoughts and ideas on to do with health. I have a sleeping disorder. I'm probably about 8 stone overweight. I have aches and pains, walking struggles because of played a lot of sport and one thing or another. I've done my Achilles in and my knees in. I don't want to make any excuses because I'm overweight, and that's just basically it. But what I want to give to you is just some ideas and facts. I've probably 4 or 5 times in my life, I've put weight on and then I've lost it and got down to my ideal weight. And yes, I felt better and everything. But it was always starting to put back on. I had to train extra to keep the weight off. So then when I snapped my Achilles, it made it so much harder because I couldn't walk for 2 years. And it didn't matter. I got fit again when I was in my 40s. I got down to about 13 stone, so I was about a stone overweight still, but I was in good condition, felt healthy and everything. And then my right leg started to go, and I just thought, you know what? But it's the only way I could ever lose weight was mainly, the diet is important, but it was mainly through exercise. Then when they took the exercise away, I started to channel why I'd put the weight on. And they showed me that there's a program there, which in past life and childhood and one thing or another, and so not feeling good enough. And so there was always an underlying factor. So that's why your body would actually start to work upon this. And this got me thinking that because I'd always had the fear of being overweight, was I creating being overweight? Because of that, because I'd put a program in. And it wasn't until I became overweight, and still now, it's only when I look in the mirror I suddenly think, who's that person? He doesn't represent who I've always been. I've always trained hard and everything until I got to the stage where I couldn't. But even then, it's still, I can still go for walks, I can still do stuff. But whether you do or not, it's up to yourself. The problem I always found was that for 2 weeks, it was mental torture for me. I had to get through those barriers, those worries, those fears and the first training. I mean, I used to be able to do 5 miles in the morning and 5 miles at night, pre-season training. I've done a half marathon in 1 hour and 37. I was really fit. I used to train 2 hours, train with somebody. So I cycle for 45 minutes, train with somebody for 2 hours, and then cycle back 45 minutes. I got super fit at times. I mean, even when I went for being a pro footballer, I had the chance of being a pro footballer. I went for pre-season training. They always used to say I was 12 stone, and I went to this place, and even then the mind was not quite right because they said to me, oh, you're half a stone overweight. I said, I'm half a stone overweight. And I used to build my legs up purposely so I could run fast. I could run just as fast going backwards as forwards. I trained myself to be able to be. And I said to them, am I the fittest here? They went, well, you've caught up with the professionals in 3 days of training. And that's what I was like. I was always 110% to put in. But it caused problems for my body. I used to play 3 matches at weekends. Why? Just to fit in, just to enjoy with my mates and, the stuff I used to put my body on. But that time when I got so fit by doing the 45 minutes and everything and everything. It was like everything slowed down for me. And yet they said I was so much quicker, so much sharper. And, you know, it was incredible, really, what fitness you can get yourself to. And most of it is like, it's like mental torture for me. It's not the problem doing it. It's not the problem was losing the weight, even though I tried all different ways. You know, I even tried the egg diet for a while until I realised that I'm a little bit allergic to it. And I think if you eat too much of one thing, you'll find your body will automatically create there's been too much for the body it can't handle. And this is what I realised. I used to eat tons of fruit and vegetables, and then I ended up, my teeth started to go rotten. And, you know, everybody keeps telling me, oh, you know, these are things. But plants don't want to be eaten as well. So the balance is so important. So why am I doing this video? Well, I channeled through. I thought, come on then. Spirit has always guided me, always helped me on my journey, always given me insights. And I says, well, what's going on here? And he says, well, think of it as your body has just been given a message. So I says, right, okay, so what do you mean by that? Well, you've just told your body that you're going to decrease the amount of food into your body. So you're telling your body that the system that it's been working to isn't right. But it has this programming. It has this thing that's inside of you that's making you put the weight on, you know, and that's my choice. Don't get me wrong, I still have to put the food in my mouth. But even when because I went to the doctors about this, even I used to eat one meal a day and I wasn't losing weight. And everybody says, well, you know, no calories, da, da, da. I've done bars, I've made myself up like bars and all sorts of things to just eat during the day, you know, and it's not working now. And I thought to myself, well, what's this all about? Because I've always have lost the weight before, so it's never been a problem. And they says, well, you just imagine it. Your body is trying to keep you going on what it has. You may not be putting enough into your body to keep it going. And now you're going to tell the body that you're going to decrease the amount. That's going to go sending it in panic modes. What your body is doing is storing everything all the time. I mean, I tried keto. And yes, I was able to go through 16 to 24 hours. I mean, I've done fastings, I've done all sorts of things. But mentally, it made me, I did the keto and I was physically ill for 2 weeks. And I just thought, you know what? I can't do this. I can't make myself. I've got to enjoy life because I always have enjoyed life. It doesn't matter what weight I am, whatever. I've always enjoyed life, you know? And so I thought to myself, well, so you've got a programming which is going against what your body that you've created, and you're now trying to stress your body out by doing 900 calories a day. When you probably wasn't eating enough. Because people have lived with me and said, Steve, you don't eat enough to be that weight. And I said, yeah, because my body, it could be to do with cortisol, it could be all sorts of things because we have history in our family and whatever. But I think what it is I always do training and then deplete what I eat. Eventually works, but then eventually it comes back on. So straight away, I'm depleting the amount that goes into my body. Then, on top of that, I'm telling my body, you've got to start training. And the body's going, well, you ain't got enough to keep the body going. And now you want to start training. And so all these sort of ideas were coming to me when I was channeling. So then what I tried to do was, to stop myself from wanting to have snacks or one thing or another, I started imagining myself eating 3 meals a day. Or eating the eggs in the morning and the eggs at 12. And I started to make myself soups for the night time, which was working perfectly. Kept me full all the time. An odd bit of cravings, but overall, not so bad. I mean, it is a bit boring, but luckily my soups, I made different sorts of soups in the pressure cooker. And I've got them all stacked up in the fridge, and it's brilliant. Because just get it out, cook it, jobs are good, it's lovely and tasty. And, you know, it gets me through the day, plenty of water. But, you know, I want the weight to come off now, you know, this minute sort of thing. And putting stress on the body is not really very good. So anyway, when I started visualizing myself eating and enjoying these foods, it didn't seem to affect me as much. the body didn't seem to store as much. So I thought, oh, that's quite interesting. Then they were showing me, because I was seeing some Chinese girl on who was amazing. She talked a lot of sense. And she says, well, if you eat just one meal a day, your body will still store it, because you have to eat twice as much to fill you up, and then you'll store it anyway. And I thought, well, that's interesting. So then what I still thought was, well, if I eat 6 or 7 little meals, I love meals, I love little food. I mean, I had carrot sticks and all sorts in there, and made myself my own hummus, and it was brilliant sort of thing. But you do get bored after a few days. So I tried to have like one day a week where I ate what I liked, but it didn't feel right. And so I didn't really eat a lot of bad things. I mean, and now my stomach is shrinking, obviously, because of just what I've been eating with the soups and one thing and another. I don't feel as hungry and everything like that. But I started to understand the well-being and the health-wise and one thing and another. Because the thing is, because I've always worked with energy, so I know that I absorb a lot of energy, I suddenly realised, I mean, I went for blood tests and everything, and they just looked at me. They were like, you're massively overweight, Steve, but your bloods are fine. We don't understand it. It's not humanly possible. Well, I know why, because I spent my life meditating and, drinking a lot of water and doing a lot of things. But I was obviously absorbing a lot of energy as well. So I'm not making excuses here, because there'll be a point when I'll just lose the weight. And at the moment, I've lost about 2 stone at the moment. So that's good. But I'm trying not to count calories. I'm trying to just enjoy the food and just go with it. And a little tricks I've started to do is, instead of having the 3 eggs in the morning, that I might have them each hour. I might have an egg, which has made a difference, because the body then doesn't store it as much by eating little and often. I've also, because I used to have shakes, and I always feel ill after shakes. It's like I got some dairy intolerance. What have I done? Every other hour, I have 1 spoonful instead of 2, and my body can manage with that. And I think this is the key. You've got to allow your body to be able to manage. If the body thinks that you're putting food into it, it's not having to store it. It's not having to worry about it. It's not having to stress you to go and get some food. And which half the time, I mean, I do a lot of work with like energy, and like I said, and unconditional love neutralizes. And so if I put unconditional love in my body, or unconditional love into the food, then it doesn't seem to affect me as much. It doesn't seem to store it as much. I mean, I'm trying all different ways at the moment, and I might share that with you. But at the end of the day, I think if you're struggling about your weight, take that stress away. Your body has blocks in there. Your body has created the way it is for a reason. You have to understand why you've created that reason. I mean, I wanted to get really connected energy-wise, and what happened? I ended up with a sleeping disorder. So I was connected all the time, which didn't help the body, because the body couldn't fix itself. But it's what I created. What I wanted. I wanted to find out what this is happening in life, and soul searching, and why I attracted certain situations, and how the universe worked, and enlightenment and everything. And I found the answers. But I also realised that there was a lot of stuff that was important that I didn't include in my life. And that took away the enjoyment. And when you enjoy life, you really find that you are more linked to the universe and linked to whatever person, or whether you believe in God or whatever, or the energy or whatever, you're more connected. You more find beautiful things around you. Why? Because your energy is aligning to who you are. It's the opposite. It's not, we search to be better, but at the end of the day, you have to understand, why are you seeing lack on yourself when your part to play is so important? And so really, I started to change my mindset and I said to myself, I'm going to give myself a bit of a break. For years, I've worried about being overweight. Now I'm overweight. I'm just going to embrace it, that I'm overweight. It might be because it means I can take a lot more energy. I could utilize a lot more energy so I can heal a lot more people. It might be my false illusion of this. Who knows? And I think you just got to take the pressure off yourself, you know, and stop looking at the lack. That is just what you're vibrating not to have, you know. And then learning to love yourself and listen to your body. And then by doing that, I think you'll find an easier way. It's not so, food is not so stressful for me now because my stomach is starting to shrink. I'm starting to eat little and often, and so my body's not fighting and worrying about eating. And some people will say, you don't know what you're on about. That's fine. But when I channeled through, they were saying to me that you are actually creating this problem, this issue, you know, and the energy is what it is at the moment. And the way I am is what it is at the moment. And hopefully soon I will be able to change my mindset and change the programming. I've seen where it is come from. I've seen in the past life, and I've seen the childhood, and I've seen even the future of the vibration that I have that's creating this. But because of cortisol, because of all to do with your stomach and all these different things, you can overthink. You can put more stress on the body. Stress is the one key factor why our bodies are ill. And I mean, there has been a lot of stressful times, but nothing that I can't handle. If I hadn't meditated, I don't think I would have survived because of the sleeping disorder, the realization. And I can tell now, if I don't have a good night's sleep, it's a big difference to the way my attitude is, the way I am. And so it's so important to go and get those checks and to get yourself right and to learn what you enjoy in your routine, because that will change your energy system. That will help the blockages to be released and everything. Because if you're not feeding these blocks, if you're not giving energy to it, or worrying about what people think about you and this, that and the other, then you'll find a different way in life. And so this is what I just wanted to share, my experience. I'm not telling anybody what to eat or not to eat. You know, it is important to have water because we're based on water, but you can drink a lot of water, especially cold, and your body doesn't want to heat it up, so it just gets rid of it. It might not be that you have enough salt for it to feed the liver and the kidneys and everything. There's all this. I mean, I've studied a lot of this, so there's a lot of situations that I don't think people, you know, realise. And the thing is, these people that say to me, oh, you know, they're super thin, I've scanned their bodies. They're not as healthy as they're making out to be when I've scanned the bodies of people. So I think we need to take away this fat and thin and what's right and not, because if you're stressing your body, you're stressing your mind, then you're going to create other problems. Your body might be right, but is your mind right? That's a good question, isn't it? I'm not advocating that you should all be overweight. I'm not advocating that you should all be thin. You have to find, it's like your spiritual journey. You have to find your path in life. You have to find your way in life, you know? And that's what it's all about. And it's not about enjoying being fat, not about enjoying being thin. It's just about living, being alive, and enjoying being alive. And peace will automatically come to you. Situations, you'll be able to listen to your body. While you're thinking of lack or you need to be on a diet, you're not listening to your body. Your body might not want to be on a diet. You might not have been eating enough, and so it stores everything, even water, food and everything. It might not be, certain fruits are not even good for you. Certain vegetables are not even good for you. There's a reason why you like certain things. But what people do is they eat to feel the love and the joy, instead of being unconditional love, instead of enjoying life and then being the energy of it. And then all of a sudden it changes your palate, the way you eat and all sorts of things. So anybody who's struggling with weight or anything like that, give yourself a break. Don't stress your body out. Don't stress your mind out. Get back to meditation. Get back to being in nature. Get back to doing what you love doing and what made you happy. and just allow you to evolve in that way and take away all these blocks that you are, because you can be as thin as you possibly want to be. It doesn't make you happy. It doesn't make you content. Your body's still fighting, because you've got to find out what the programming is. What is it that you've created to be the way you are? And why are you seeing yourself as not good enough if you're overweight, or you're too skinny, or you wear glasses, or all the different things that people seem to find to change who they are? Those who enjoy life give off a different energy, and the body gives off a different energy. That's why whenever I come across pregnant women, not that I go around looking for pregnant women, they're glowing from the inside out, because they have that pure energy within them that they tap into. We all have this pure energy within all of us that we can tap into. It's what we feed it, it becomes. So it's very important to change your mindset and to think that, you're not loved for who you are when you are. The universe is automatically sending love and support. We're blocking receiving it. We don't need to search for it. It's already there within us. We've just got to feed it. We've got to nourish it. We've got to grow it. We're going to make it feel alive. And we're going to see the joy of it being alive. And hopefully this has just given you a bit of insight that might make you think about it. Yes.